Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Hef here. This one is going to be a doozy. Um, it's probably going to be about two parts, maybe three, because the length of the overall interview is about 52 minutes. Um, and I chose this video because it resonates on several levels that we as quote unquote black men see in our lives. First, obviously, is I speak about this all the time. How the black community is led by black women, and that was strategic. They put the woman in charge because they know that the woman can't successfully lead. So we're the only demographic in the freaking country that's led by our women, and look at all the disarray that we are in. That's why we need to put the man back in the house, get the man back in the house and lead in the house. But the man has to be of sound mind. Obviously, I don't just mean take these niggas and put them back in the cribs, because that ain't gonna do much of it, any good. So we have to train the men properly, so that way they can conduct themselves like men and have something to teach not only their wives but their children. And so there's many different like dynamics throughout this video, and obviously we're gonna touch on them as they come up. But so just a heads up, this video is gonna contain a lot of Bible talk. The Bible is going to be the point of reference for this particular video, for several reasons. One, because this woman is a self-proclaimed apostle, and a priest or preacher, whatever, reverend. I forget exactly which one she used. I know she did say that she wanted to be called apostle, but I'm not going to do that. That's just fucking crazy to me. But that goes to show you just how far these women go. With their nonsense and trying to take power and stuff like that. So anyway, during the course of this video, there's going to be references to the Bible. So if you're not with that, then I would suggest that you click out now and don't watch the other parts, if I do make other parts about it, because again, it's going to contain that. I urge you to go ahead and listen and view it, because you'll learn something definitely about it, whether you're for or against the Bible. And again, I think our people need to start having open minds. That way we can begin to see things more objectively, and that way we can see shit more clearly. Because when your mind's not shrouded in a whole bunch of nonsense and emotional bullshit, then you can see things for what they actually are. So I do recommend people do stick around and watch the video, and obviously leave your comments, questions, or concerns in the comment section, and we can open up the dialogue there. Aside from that, obviously this is a Jesse Lee Peterson episode, and one thing I will say about Jesse Lee Peterson is that I like that he brings all different types of people on his platform, and he has a conversation with them. Whether he agrees with them or not, he does that. So that's great for me for a few reasons. I get to gain insight from different types of people, one, and two, I get to use a lot of his material as a backdrop to create my own content. So that's two. So before I even start the video, I'm going to start with some Bible stuff. So first and foremost, and everyone should freaking know this, a woman cannot teach the Bible. Full stop, period, point blank. It's clear as day in the Bible, and not even just in one particular passage. There's reference to women not being able to teach all over the freaking Bible, okay? For instance, I suffer not a woman to teach or usurp the authority of a man, meaning women cannot teach, because it's pretty freaking straightforward. So it drives me crazy how you'll see a lot of these people try to, especially like these women, try to like manipulate the words of the Bible to fit what they're trying to do, which is actually just Luciferian in nature. So, before I even continue, if you find yourself getting into a back and forth with these women about this, listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. Like I said in videos past, you stand nothing to gain. You stand nothing to gain by doing that, because one, that's not your woman. You ain't getting no vajayjay from her. Two, she's not your family member. And three, she's just some random psychopath. You know what I'm saying? With her screws loose, running around, trying to promote the Bible, the same thing that says that she should not be doing that. So obviously something's wrong there. So yeah, don't try to go back and forth with them. Honestly, just leave it alone. You know what I mean? Leave it alone. If you want to try to talk to the men that are following her, by all means, you can have that conversation man to man, literally. But as far as trying to talk to them about it, don't even do it, because what you're going to be met with is a whole bunch of allegations of like you being a misogynist, a freaking a sexist, all of the works. They're gonna try to call you out of your name and question your intelligence and stuff like that, and it's not even worth it. But anyway, yeah, I said, for not a woman to teach nor usurp the authority of a man. Biblical order is literally God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman. What women are supposed to learn in silence. What that means is that the woman is supposed to be taught by the man in the home. And then in the home, the woman is supposed to obviously be over the children. Actually, I left something down. It's God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, and woman over children. So yeah, women are supposed to be taught by their man in the home. And this one's huge, and I see a lot of times get overlooked, especially in the black community, quote unquote black community, this day and age. You see women I see women literally all the time on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, asking other men questions about stuff and having these back and forths, and they try to do it with me too, fairly often. And many times I say to them, I'm not your man. It's not my job to teach you. It's not my job to teach you. I have my own. I have a wife. I'm saying it's my job to teach her and keep her up on game. You know what I'm saying? That's my duty. My duty isn't to I only have one wife. If I had multiple wives, then yeah, it would be my duty to teach all of them. But no, I do not. I have one wife, and it's my duty to teach her. If I was to start teaching women who weren't my wife, they would begin to grow fond of me. And then obviously another man's wife should not be growing fond of another man, because you know what that could lead to. And oftentimes that happens in these churches. These women, they go to these churches and they fall in love with the pastors, and would love for the pastor to freaking clap their cheeks behind the freaking the choir, the choir stand. They would love that. That's their secret dream. Am I saying all? No, but most. That's just the reality of it. So yeah, a woman is not supposed to. She's supposed to learn in silence. Well, a woman, it says in the Bible as well, women aren't even supposed to speak in church. They're supposed to be silent in church and conduct themselves the way that they would conduct themselves at home. So I don't know how these people try to justify them teaching the Bible, and it's interesting to me, because women obviously have the spirit of the serpent on them, and then for them to be really gallivanting around today saying they were called by God to teach the Bible, that's just a farce. It's a huge farce, man. But anyway, I don't want to go too much. I want to play this so that way you can see how this woman conducts herself and speaks, because I think that's a big part of this video as well. How her story and how she conducts herself, and especially how she speaks to Jesse, which shows her relationship with male authority. Okay.
888-77 Jesse. Jesse is without the I. That's 888-77-5377. She is the founder of Spoken Word Ministry and Is that Limberly Daniels Ministry?
Hi, how are you doing?
All is well. I appreciate you coming on today.
Oh, it's a blessing. Every time I get to share the gospel, it blesses me, and I thank God for being able to bless other people.
All right. You're married with 6 children, I read.
Yes, I am.
That's amazing. How old?
That is amazing. God did say to the woman, "Go forth and multiply." So having 6 children is great. That is a great thing. But obviously, you know, she just isn't content with her role, and being a mother over her 6 kids.
The oldest to the youngest is what?
Well, I have a son that will be 28 in September. He plays football for the New York Giants. All the way down to I have identical 9-year-old twins, Elijah and Elisha.
How do you have time to be a wife, mother, and minister?
Because everybody.
You don't. Before she answers the question, the answer to the question is you don't, because you're not supposed to, because that's what God said. Number one. Number two, you don't, because to be a mother is to really steward over your children. And if you're out of the house pretending to be something that you're not, then obviously that is time wasted and taken away from your children. You're taking away time from your children to go off on your own selfish act. Period.
Everybody is involved, and that makes it real easy when everybody's involved.
Oh, your kids are involved in the ministry as well?
Yeah. Well, you know what? In the vision, because, like my son.
So the answer to that is they're not involved in the ministry.
He plays, of course, he plays professional football, so there's a lot he can't do, and my children, they have their activities, they act and model and all of that, but they're so in love with the ministry and the church, and they love what their mom and dad do, so they're involved.
How do you know that? How do you know that? These are children, and obviously, if you're doing all this stuff, I doubt that you're spending as much time with them as possible. So how do you know that they love it, or is that just an assumption? A lot of kids, grow up and develop these mental issues because of how they were brought up. And people don't know about it until obviously they grow the fuck up, because a kid doesn't understand what's going on. They think what's normal is what they see, because that's all they know. So you can't just go around assuming that, oh, the kid, my son loves my job or whatever. Like, that's not just necessarily the case. They'll hide things, whether it be consciously or subconsciously.
It's hard. So whatever we have to do, it makes way for that, because they're excited about it.
Is your husband a minister?
Almost definitely. We minister although I'm the apostle of our church.
All right.
No, you're not an apostle. Already with the lies, fucking lies.
We minister as a team, and my husband.
And your husband should be ashamed of his fucking self. Actually, now that I think about it, he should be ashamed of himself. How the fuck he got a wife going around calling himself a goddamn apostle and teaching the Bible, and he's supposed to be a preacher? So that goes to show that he has no fucking understanding of the Bible. No understanding of the Bible. This guy literally is, as I'm thinking about it, is like the real life reincarnation of Adam, being deceived and misled by Eve, who was following the serpent. That's what this woman is. She's a Luciferian.
Minister to men all over the world, and he also heads up, all of our deliverance ministry and prayer ministry at the church.
So you're over your husband at your church, though? You're the head of the church?
Yeah, when I married him, I was already...
Let's answer the question. So the answer is yes, you are. You are the head of him at the church, which is crazy, but okay.
The pastor in the church.
Oh, I see. I want to ask this, and I'm asking because it's something that I would never do. What kind of man would marry a woman who is head of a church and a...
That's a great question, Jesse. And before I allow her to answer, I'm going to answer. A weak man, a man who does not know nor understand God or the Bible, period.
allow this woman to be over him. What type of man would allow that?
Well, the type of man that would do that is one who knows who he is. See, my husband.
No, actually, that's the opposite of the answer. A man that knows who he is literally would know everything that I've been talking about up until this point. He would know that, and the last thing he would do will allow a woman to be over him in any capacity. Number one, let alone the motherfucking church.
Was an ex-drug dealer, and he was on his way to life in prison. All the guys that he was with,
right,
they're doing life in prison, and when he ran in contact with this woman, she changed his life. So he's not bound by religious spirits that would even...
So she just said that she saved her husband's life because she was able to reroute his life trajectory because he was going down the wrong path. Now, can that be true? Yes. Yes, women can do that. You know, people could do that. A random person that you meet in life or build a relationship with can help change your life for the better. That doesn't mean that person is a preacher. Period. And just because that person does do that doesn't mean it make that person more eligible to be a preacher. You know, this woman, by her own statements, comes across to me as someone that was living a righteous life, and at least trying to, because there's nothing righteous about being an imposter and a fraud. But she was trying to, live her life by the Bible. So therefore, that's righteous. So yes, if he clings to that, and then he listens to just the very basic message of the Bible, then yes, that can change his life. But that does not make you a freaking preacher, let alone an apostle. So these things are independent of one another. Just because what I'm saying is, just because she saved her husband's life through the Bible doesn't make her a preacher. That doesn't say, okay, it's okay for women to preach the Bible.
Think that way, because I guess, if you had a choice, would you rather be and really I'm in the ministry walking side by side with him. I just happen to be the pioneer.
Right.
And when someone changes your life like that, my husband had houses with many women. My husband was a womanizer. So he's not the kind of man that would just have a woman over him, because me and my husband...
Apparently he is. And most womanizers are mama's boys. So that literally fits right in lock and step with everything that you're saying right now. Like I said, most womanizers are mama's boys.
Were drug dealers when we were in college a long time ago.
Yeah, I read that.
When I met him, my husband had houses with 5 and 6 different women in them. So he definitely is not that kind of man. He's not the kind of man you can run.
Right.
But he's the kind of man that will submit to God, and if God tells him to get under a dog, he'll do that.
What do you think those 5 or 6 women were doing in those houses? I think they were running him. Because I find it hard to believe that a person that is in that position in life, like that he was, literally speeding down the wrong path, about to be locked up for the rest of his life. Obviously, he was a degenerate and a drug dealer, peddling freaking drugs to his own people. I find it hard to believe that somebody like that would be able to have the fortitude to oversee over 5 women. I think the likelihood is more so that he was actually listening and living off of these women. They were pretty much running the show. That's my view on that.
And so God told him to get under you?
Well, no, God told him to marry me. And the bottom line is, it wasn't so much as getting under, his life was being saved.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, but those are two independent things. Those are two independent clauses. His life can be saved. It does not mean that you need to usurp his authority, or that you should usurp his authority, or that you can teach the fucking Bible. Like, these are independent of one another. Period.
right now, I minister to his friends that are doing 2 life sentences right now.
Right.
When he came and got with me, most of his friends went to do death row or life sentences because of the type of life they were living.
Uh-huh.
And this is just not limited to a man that will be living that kind of life. But the bottom line is there's no male and female in the spirit, because there's a lot of men that women are under that are gay, that are womanizers, that are on their way to hell. So I really think that when we go...
Hold on one second. Let me rewind that.
Is there's no male and female in the spirit, because there's a lot of...
Hold on, let's go back again.
Uh-huh.
And this is just not limited to a man that will be living that kind of life. But the bottom line is there's no male and female in the spirit.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There is male and female in the spirit. There's the spirit of Adam and there's the spirit of Eve. So unless she's trying to speak about God himself, she's wrong. There is the spirit of a woman and there's the spirit of a man. A lot of these men out here have the spirit of a fucking woman, and that's why the black community is the way it is. So there is spirit and male and woman.
Because there's a lot of men that women are under that are gay, that are womanizers, that are on their way to hell. So
that is true, and that is a problem. And that's a problem that we also need to address along with your problem of trying to be a goddamn preacher. Yes, a lot of these pastors are gay, and that is a problem. Because again, they can't teach the Bible just like you can't teach the fucking Bible. Period. All right. So at least we agree on that.
I really think that when we're going to get up under somebody, we better not do it by the flesh. We got to find out what we're getting up under, because there's a lot of stuff that folk are up under male.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, just because someone is a man doesn't mean that they should lead. Not every man is a natural leader. Now, men in general are natural leaders. Like, overall, the general statement, yes, but not all men were born to lead. Okay. So yeah, just because someone is a man, am I saying that you should just go follow that person down your path? No. I'm not saying that at all, because that guy could be a goddamn Luciferian as well. So obviously there's some credence to what she's saying there. You have to understand that what the person understands about the Bible and about who the person is. But even with that being said, once you apply that to her, you'll say, well, this bitch is fucking batshit crazy, because it says in the Bible, like literally all over the goddamn place, how a woman is not supposed to be doing what she's doing. And nothing personal against her, but she's just wrong. She's wrong. And she's literally going down the left-hand path of Luciferianism.
Ministers that they ought not to be up under.
The reason I would never do it. Now, when I was weak and out of it, I would do it. But since I've changed from that, I would never do it, because I notice that men who are under women, and I see it in the homes too, where mothers are over the homes, the men, the women, the girls become angry and out of control, and the men become soft and angry.
Okay, well, let me say this to you.
And that's why I would never.
I know, but
and I agree with Jesse on that.
My point to you, I appreciate your view on that, but you've been hanging out with the wrong one. Because if you meet my husband, you'll understand that he ain't soft.
I got news for you, lady. Your husband's soft.
And he's a real man will obey God.
But not a...
Yeah, a real man would obey God. And your husband is not a real man by that definition.
Real man does.
But a real man
And my children are very healthy, and my children are saved and love the Lord, and all my children know who they are. So
I don't know. I have to question that, because obviously you don't know who the hell you are.
Order of God. There's a lot that we have to deal with here.
Yes.
But the bottom line is that I think that we need to deal with it by the Spirit and not by the flesh,
That's interesting that so what you notice is she's trying to change the scope of the argument to say, like, let's not focus on the flesh, let's focus on the spirit. And when she says flesh, what she really means is the genitalia. Let's not focus on if the person has a penis or vagina or not. Let's focus on the spirit, because what she's trying to claim is that the spirit is genderless, and that is false. That is false. That you have the spirit of a man and you have the spirit of the woman. Okay? So what she's trying to shift it to fit her agenda, but even in shifting it, it is false.
Not by culture and not by what people have taught.
The spiritual order, Pastor, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but according to the Bible, the spiritual order of God is God in Christ, Christ over man. I mean, God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children.
All right, I'm going to stop it right here, because obviously I'm going to have to do a part 2 and maybe a part 3 on this, because we barely just scratched the surface. So see y'all on the next part.